it's Jay from Sony Alpha Lab, and what I got here is the Sigma f1.4 30mm DC-DN contemporary lens, and I also have the Sigma 16mm 1.4 DC-DN contemporary lens. Now, the 16mm goes for about $450. The 30mm goes for about $340. So about $100 different. All right, so you can see right here they both have nice lens hoods. This one is a smooth lens hood. This one is a pedal design. They got the pinch style lens caps. The build feels really good. They're high quality units from Sigma, and compared to Sony lenses, they're way cheaper. And with the high speed, you know, it makes them a pretty desirable optic as well. Now, they don't have any image stabilization, but cameras like the A6500 has built-in image stabilization, so you don't really need it with a camera like the A6500, which I'm recording with right now, by the way, using the 18 to 135mm kit lens I just recently reviewed. So make sure you check that lens out. All right, just for a quick comparison, I just wanted to show you what the 16mm f2.8 pancake lens looks like from Sony versus the 16mm f1.4 lens from Sigma. You know, you could see the clear difference is just incredibly. You know, this lens is huge and heavy in comparison to the pancake lens, so if weight is a concern, you're not going to want this lens. It's quite heavy. This is such a pretty scene here. I mean, all you really got to do is point and shoot to get a good picture. This is another spot I really enjoy. This composition right here, the lighting right now is absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to throw a 30mm on now, see what I can get with that one. Guys, I'm at Fallsburg Falls again, and I got the Hoya ND filter this time, just a regular 3-stop ND filter. I'm going to put on a 16mm Sigma lens, which is what I'm recording with right now, and I'm going to get some cool silky water shots down at the falls. actually filming with the Sigma 30mm f1.4. Sorry for the wind. So 16mm, when you factor in the crop factor, works out to an effective 24mm, which is pretty wide, but it's not crazy wide like the 10 to 18mm, you know, E-mount zoom lens. That would be more of an ultra wide angle. The f1.4 aperture is so fast. It's really good for low light situations, astrophotography if you want to get the stars and things like that. It also has a 9-blade aperture diaphragm, so the autofocus bokeh balls are going to be really nice and round at all aperture ranges. So this lens has 16 elements in 13 groups, as you can see right here. And it's got a lot of high quality elements in there which help with distortion, flaring. It also has a super multi-coating on some of the lens elements in there to help reduce flaring and give that extra contrast and stuff, and it seems to work pretty well. In addition to that, this lens is weather sealed with the TSC construction, which is, you know, a term Sigma uses, but basically what it means is it has some brass in there, a brass bayonet. It's just got better build quality than some of the cheaper lenses, okay? This guy weighs in at 405 grams, so it's pretty beefy, you know, but those big glass elements, it's going to give you a little bit of weight, you know. Lastly, this lens has a really high quality stepping AF motor, so it's virtually silent when recording video, and it's very quick as well when it comes to focus transitions and focus tracking and stuff. It's really fast. Alright guys, so now I'm recording with the 16mm, so you can see the wide angle view difference versus the 30mm, which I was just recording with. But now I got the 30mm in my hand, and this unit goes for about $340, okay? And 30mm, when you factor in the crop factor, works out to approximately 45mm effective range, okay? So that's about what this works out to. This lens has 9 elements and 7 groups. So this lens weighs in at about 265 grams, or about 9.35 ounces or so. So it's pretty lightweight considering the speed. You know, the glass elements are quite large because the 1.4 max aperture, and it's still fairly lightweight. And it also has that brass bayonet on there, so the build quality is pretty darn good. Focus ring feels really nice. Same thing on the 16mm. It's nice and smooth. Alright guys, so here's the Sigma 30mm f1.4, and I'm just doing some video testing. I'm actually using a stabilizer gimbal here. Whoa, Bonesy, easy! And I just wanted to show you the focus transitions and stuff like that. Check it out. So there's me, and then I'll just move it away. I'll bring it back so you can see how the focus tracks. Pretty cool, right? And you can see that you could hear that the focus is extremely quiet. If you're listening, you can't even hear it in the video. You can see the focus on this net here. And just listen carefully. Silent. Bone John. Bone John. Whoa, easy buddy. Alright, so here is the Sigma 16mm, so you could see the difference in focal length. You know, obviously the composition is going to look a lot different. And I can aim it down here and see Bones Jones. Hey Bonesy, what a good boy. It's a good boy. Whoa, easy killer. Alright, so there it is focused on me, and I'll just bring it in. And you can, the minimum focus distance on this lens is really close, so you can get really close to stuff. And you can see the focus tracking is quite good. And it's pretty much silent. Go to Lightroom really quick and show you the lab test photos. We're going to go through these really fast. So here's f1.4, so wide open with the 16 millimeter, and this is with the lens correction profile enabled in Lightroom. So I want to show you with and without. So you can see how the vignette is trying to be corrected here by Lightroom. But straight off the camera, that's what you're looking at. It looks pretty good to me. And if you zoom in, you can see the corner sharpness, even at f1.4 wide open, is really good. It definitely sharpens up quite a bit at f4, and you can see it's just super sharp. All right, so here's f1.4 at the minimum focus distance, and I put the quarter all the way in the corner. So you can see just how little distortion this lens has, even in the corner area, because that's a round, quarter. Now when I enable the profile, it stretches the photo out, and it actually makes the photo look way worse as far as the round quarter goes, but it tried to straighten out the horizontal lines and things like that. All right, so here's what it looks like at f8. All right, and then here's one at f1.4. So this is the 16 millimeter. I just wanted to show you how awesome the background bokeh balls and stuff look, even with this ultra wide angle lens. I mean, that's incredible. 16 millimeter, and you get this kind of bokeh. That's a first for me. I've never tested a wide angle that's been this fast before. So anyways, moving on to the 30 millimeter. Here's 30 millimeter. Now it's zoomed in a bit more, and you can see the bokeh balls here on the right. And as we stop it down, you can see here the background, detail starts to come back. And it really renders excellent. Now here's the lab scene, and the quarter is in the front here, so you can see what that looks like out of focus. All right, now if we zoom in, actually let me enable the profile so you can see the distortion. It's not too bad, but it does have a little bit. All right, I'll leave it unchecked. Now let me just show you what this corner sharpness looks like. Again, f1.4, and the corners are extremely sharp. And if we stop it down, they're going to sharpen up a little bit more, and the vignette is going to get less. So you can see here at f2.8, the corners are really, really sharp. All right, and looking at the quarter there, very, very good. All right, just a couple quick photos. I just wanted to show you a few portraits I took with the 30 millimeter, and you can see here the background just butters out quite nice. This is one of my best friends, Mark, and he was nice enough to let me take a quick portrait of him, and you can see the background looks really good. I also got one of Layla here. Her flip-flop fell off and she was laughing. It was really funny. But you can see this shot came out really good, and you can see the background out of focus area is quite nice. And if I edited this photo, it would look amazing, if I put some love into it. But straight off the camera, you can see it looks pretty good. These images are just a little bit flat straight off the camera, so I recommend adding a curve filter here. Just go to medium contrast, and that'll fix that. And then I can drag the highlights back just a little bit. But anyways, just looking at the sharpness here, that's what I wanted to show you. And you can see it looks really good. You can see there's like a hair going across the face, and this is wide open f1.4 with the 30 millimeter. And another good thing about 30 millimeter is it's about 45 millimeter equivalent when you factor in the crop factor. So for small children in particular, you can be very close to them when you're taking the portrait. And a lot of times that's important if you want to fix hair or you're trying to get them to laugh or something. 45 millimeter is really good range for that. And you might think it's not, enough of a telephoto for a portrait, but not the case. Also, I was pretty close to Layla here when I took this full body shot, and it makes it a little bit easier to get, the whole body and be relatively close with a shorter focal length, but it's still long enough where it's not like too distorted and stuff like that. So, and then here's a mushroom that was out back. They all popped up. And here's another one here. I just played with this one a little bit with the settings in Lightroom, but you could just see this depth of field is absolutely killer on this lens. So, all right, let's wrap this review up. All right, guys, so to wrap up this review, I gotta say both the Sigma 16mm and 30mm f1.4 DCD and contemporary lenses are excellent values for the dollar. They're very sharp, wide open. The sharpness fall off is really not bad at all. Even in the corners, the distortion is extremely well controlled on the 16mm in particular, which is one of the reasons why the lens is as big as it is. Also the speed, f1.4 of course. So for the money, they're excellent lenses. They're, especially, like I said, autofocus. The autofocus is extremely quiet. It's very quick, so it's good for video as well. Normally, I don't recommend other lenses because the autofocus doesn't work that good. Sony lenses are so much better in that regard in general, but these work very good. There was a little bit of purple fringing when wide open, shooting with the 30mm toward, like, into the sun on the high contrast areas. I noticed there was a little bit of purple on the tops of the, you could see behind me in the picture. And but once you stop down a little bit, that went away. So in super high contrast areas, you will see some of that. That was like the biggest lens flaw I saw. Other than that, there's a significant vignetting, but nothing crazy. I actually like the way that looks on a lens. Personally, I usually add that in post anyway, but there is a little bit of that, but that's expected when the aperture is as big as it is on these lenses. So these lenses are specifically designed for crop factor cameras like the Sony a6500 and cameras like that, 6300, 6000. They're not made for the full frame Sony E-mount. Those are the FE lenses. So, all right, so be sure to check out my Sony E-mount lens guide, and that'll show you all the available E-mount lenses. And there's the full frame and the crop factor. They're in separate sections, okay? So you can keep track of which lens to get for which camera, okay? You got the full frame cameras like the A7, A7 III, A7R, A7S. Those are all full frame E-mount cameras. Then you got the A6300, A6000. Those are crop factor E-mount cameras, okay? So the lenses are in categories of that. APS-C stands for crop factor. FE stands for full frame, okay? So that's what you're looking at when it comes to the E-mount lens guide. All right, so if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe. Also, don't forget to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. If you want to support the channel, right below the video in the description area, I'll have all the links for the lenses and equipment used in this review. So I would really appreciate it if you use the links if you're going to make purchases and stuff like that. It'll really help support the channel. It'll help me get new equipment to do a better job out in the field. I got to get some audio equipment and stuff because the wind noise is messing me up. I need a couple extra batteries as well. But anyways, that is it for this review. I really hope you got what you're looking for, and have a great day. I'll catch up with you next time, and if you have any questions or comments, please just hammer away below and I'll be happy to answer. All right, guys, take care.